So my paintings are, in my eyes, a mirror of the spiritual world. The intangible and the inexplicable beauty and light that, you kind of see when you're praying or meditating. There's so much magic in this world that has yet to be uncovered every single day. And it's all about seeking that opportunity and finding it and being like, wow, I had no idea that, this could have happened today. How many times have you just been in situations where you've gotten unbelievably lucky, or you dodged a bullet, or those little miracles that happen every day? That's what inspires my artwork.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 85 of the Andrew Deitch podcast. What's up? Hope everybody is having a lovely Monday. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, just want to thank you for making that decision to check this show out. It really means the world to me. And if you don't know already, this show is about having meaningful conversations with the most fascinating people that I know, people that are go-getters, entrepreneurs, world travelers, people who are outliers in their field. And I love talking to people who, I love talking to people about what makes them who they are, how they got to where they are today, what they're truly passionate about. And I think that these conversations don't happen enough in our daily lives. So I hope that you enjoy getting to sit down and listen in on our conversation today. But before we jump in, I want to quickly thank today's sponsor, Brooke Watson of Keller Williams, Chattahoochee North. And Brooke and I have been answering your questions that we receive from you guys. And today's question required some insight from another expert. So hopefully you learned something new, and I'll be right back to get into the show.
Yes, this is Brooke Watson with Keller Williams, Chattahoochee North. And this is my preferred loan officer, Jeff Buchweitz with Shelter Home Mortgage, here to talk to you guys today as a guest on the podcast.
So, Jeff, we've had some questions rolling in. One specific question is from my friend Alan. He's an entrepreneur. Okay. Very exciting. And he said, as an entrepreneur who just launched my own business, what are my options and timeline to being approved for a home loan?
All right, that's a great question. So if a borrower is recently in a new business as a self-employed borrower, typically the conventional guidelines call for at least 2 years as a self-employed borrower before they can purchase a home. There are exceptions based on good credit, down payment percentage, those kind of things that may allow him to purchase within a year. If he's been in another line of work as a self-employed borrower, there may be an opportunity where we have a program now that's a portfolio product that is bank statements only. So basically we derive income over a person's bank statements between 12 and 24 months. So that may be an option there as well.
So would that be including bank statements before he went full-time with his entrepreneurial venture?
It could, if he wasn't, say he was still doing, that work part-time leading up to making that his full-time job. We would do an analysis and just see how the income could be calculated over that time period, and then decide and qualify him based on a purchase price on that income. So sometimes, because you're taking an average, it may be less than what he was expecting, and that's where waiting to purchase may be beneficial.
All right, thank you, Jeff and Brooke. If you have any real estate related questions, make sure you send them our way so that we can provide some insight. And if you're interested in working with either of them, their information will be listed in the show notes. Again, thank you to Brooke Watson of Keller Williams, Chattahoochee North, for sponsoring this episode and introducing us to Jeff Buchweitz from Shelter Home Mortgage. Alrighty, so my guest today is the lovely Laura Esposito. And Laura is an artist, she's a designer, a painter, an entrepreneur, and an all-around awesome person. And after she graduated from college and got herself a big girl job in corporate America, she decided to leave it all behind, and she dove into the world of self-employment. And she started this journey with Charlie Woods, which is a designer coffee mug company. And now that has kind of evolved into her design studio, LE Design. And she's been focusing more on her art. And I really enjoyed talking to her about her creative process, dealing with imposter syndrome, how she approaches the task of actually making money from her art. And of course, we talked about Pokemon, Mary-Kate and Ashley, and Harry Potter. which is pretty fun. But also, pardon my voice in this episode. It's a little echoey. I always talk super loud, and it makes me rip my hair out when I'm editing. But anyways, it's not terrible. Just wanted to put it out there because I know, okay? I know. My voice echoes. Get over it. All right, I'm going to shut up now. Please welcome my friend, Laura Esposito. We're live.
Awesome.
All right, Laura, what's up?
How are you? Welcome to my place.
Yeah, so we're here in Laura's apartment. It's very nice.
Thank
It's very
you.
cool. I won't disclose the location for privacy reasons, but it's a very cool location. I like it a lot. Don't want anyone to be able to triangulate your location.
Exactly. Don't tell anyone where
the
I live.
metadata of this episode.
I only post it every day on my art Instagram. My
Right.
location.
Very cool. Well, Laura, what's up? Okay, so I invited you on here because I think you're a cool person.
Thank
you
you.
do cool stuff. And I could try to describe what you do, but I feel like you'd probably be able to describe it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
better. So what, in your own words, what do you do?
Well, I'm an artist and a designer. I started my company, LA Design, back in the beginning of 2017. That was around the time I decided that the corporate world wasn't for me. I kind of made the shift from, the 9 to 5, more like 7 to 7 to,
Right.
to the entrepreneurial world. And now I'm full-time art, graphic design, web design, and I do a little creative consulting for businesses as well. So it's a lot of fun so
very
far.
cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And you have a mug business, right?
Yes, Charlie Woods.
Very cool.
Thank
Is
you.
that still going?
It is. So Charlie Woods was actually the first company that I started because I have a passion for the morning time and sitting down with a cup of coffee or tea and practicing mindfulness and just really forcing yourself to, or actually even just challenging yourself to sit still amid the chaos of the day, particularly before you start your day, to reach that state of serenity and focus, so you're not all, wild man in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so yeah, Charlie Woods it's still happening. It's still a thing. But
Very cool.
Through Charlie Woods, I discovered how deeply I loved art. I was actually looking for an artist to create prints for my Charlie Woods mugs, and none of the prints I found, aligned with the vision of what I had for the mugs. With the gold accents and the very intricate colors, and I like blues. I couldn't find that many blues for some reason. So it inspired me to, paint my own designs because I've always painted for fun. I never really thought I could do it to make a living until then. And I posted those paintings on social media and got a good response. And then LA Design was born. I think I started it a few weeks after I posted them on social media. So yeah, Charlie Woods is still happening, but I'm only 25. I have so much to learn about running a business, and it feels like I'm riding a tiger. So I'm just taking my time, focusing more on my art because I think that'll, better equip me to, take Charlie Woods to its full potential.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks.
So you said you were always into art. Were you did you ever think that you were going to be an artist? Because I think for me, I took art classes in high school, but I never thought I'm going to do this as my career. Did you ever see yourself doing that, or is that?
I think I did subconsciously.
Yeah.
My grandparents owned a frame shop, and I would go every summer when I was a kid. And I had these little art shops that I would put on every day and sell paintings and drawings and everything. And that was what I loved to do. And I remember looking forward to that so much. Just waking up and hustling.
That's awesome.
Making 15 cents of painting. But I charge way more than that now, by the way.
You charge more than 15 cents?
Yeah. Yep.
Gee,
Gotta pay,
this is a ripoff.
Gotta
No,
pay
I'm
for
just kidding.
Chipotle somehow.
Gotta pay for the extra
Exactly.
guac.
Have to afford the extra guac.
Very cool. But so that's a cool story though. So you said your grandparents owned the frame shop?
Yes.
Very cool.
And my mom worked there too, so she would kind of take us when we were out of school, better than leaving us with a nanny.
Nice.
prefer
Yeah.
that.
Did you have siblings, or do you have
I
siblings?
do. I have 2 sisters, Marie and Allison, and a little brother.
And a little brother.
Full family, 4 of
Wow.
us. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Are you the oldest, middle?
I'm the second to oldest.
Second
Yeah.
oldest.
So Marie is the oldest. Allison, my little sister, how old is she? She's 22 now. She's 4 foot tall, so it's hard to keep track. And then my little brother is 21.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys are all pretty close.
We are.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we grew up in a great family. We all play together all the time, and I think that did wonders for my creative
Did you
process.
grow up in Georgia?
I did. I've lived in Atlanta my whole life.
Wow.
I grew up in the Milton area.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So growing up, where'd you go to high school? Not that it really matters that much, but I'm just curious.
Oh, it matters. Milton.
Went to Milton.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles. Very cool. And wait, so your siblings are pretty close together. So were you in high school at the same time as your siblings?
I think at one point we were all in high school at the same time because I don't know. I think that's a lie. My older sister and my little brother are 5 years apart. Yeah, that is a lie. So when I was a senior in high school, my brother was a freshman. So I guess that was the closest we all got to being together.
My younger brother is like 4 years apart. So when I graduated was when he was going in. So we never were in the same school.
Yeah,
but
all we had basically the same teachers, and they all knew Espositos. They're like, another Esposito coming through.
What type of last name is Esposito?
It's Italian.
Italian.
Yes.
Very cool.
It's supposed to be pronounced Esposito, but that's
Esposito.
too dramatic for me. I'm not going to introduce myself. I'm Laura Esposito.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and especially with the song Despacito, I'm sure you like.
That is my jam. It's embarrassing how much I get into that song. That's like my pep-up song. Like, if I'm feeling down on myself, I'm like, wait a second. You have a song made for you by Justin Bieber. And then I play it. And, don't tell anyone that.
That's amazing.
Gosh. It's embarrassing, but
hey, that's cool. That's the truth. That's awesome. I don't have a song about my last name.
Well, Justin Bieber and I go way back, so I did a lot of damage to his heart, apparently.
That's amazing. So, okay, cool. So, going into college, you went to UGA, right?
Yep, go Dogs.
Go Dogs. And you said that you were kind of pursuing the corporate life.
Yeah, so I was actually an English major at UGA with the intention of going into marketing, which is what I did before I started my company, sales and marketing. The sales job was awesome because I learned so much about sales process and how to apply that to my own product. Marketing was really great too. I had a job with a medical device company called InTouch for a little while, and that was such a blessing because they flew me back and forth in between Atlanta and Santa Barbara, California. And so much of my artwork is now inspired by Santa Barbara. In California in general, there's so much light and happiness. Like when you go there, you just feel the good energy and the good vibes. And I really try to emulate that through my paintings. So each job had a huge impact on what I do now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely relate. When I went to California for the first time, it was pretty recently. It was like a couple years ago. And it's weird how a place can have a vibe like that.
Yeah, totally.
And of course, like LA has a different vibe than like some of the more like rural areas of California and whatnot. But like there is just like a different vibe there.
For sure. That's why I love traveling, because everywhere you go has that unique energy to it. It's like you can't pinpoint it. It's just something different, something that inspires you. I'm so inspired by everywhere I travel to. That's awesome. Did you do a lot of traveling like growing up with your family? A little bit. We were more of a road trip clan. We would some of my more memorable road trips were the longer ones. We actually drove to New York one time and Connecticut as a family. What is it, like 16 hours? Oh my gosh. I don't remember really because I was a kid, but I remember. Just blocking it out mentally. Yeah, and my parents, we had movies in the car, luckily. We weren't, it's Finding Nemo. I haven't thought about this in forever. Because this happened way before we actually had DVD players in the car. So my dad is very tech savvy. He used to work at Turner Broadcasting and he still works in the tech industry. But he hooked up this like tiny, like VHS? VHS, whatever it's called, like the mini TV. He like bungee corded it to the middle like console of the car. Oh my gosh. So it's just, I don't know how he did it. That's amazing. But we had our Disney movies and. That's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, I remember on the road trips, my dad, he like just got a laptop that had a CD drive in it, so you could play DVDs on a laptop. Me and my brother thought it was the coolest thing ever. But like the battery on the laptop was so trash that like you could watch like one movie and then it was done. So we'd like have to like choose which movie to watch. Oh my gosh. Well, imagine my poor little brother when it came to choosing movies for the road. Each of us got a pick. So it was 3 girl movies, always Mary-Kate and Ashley, always. Oh my gosh, brings back the best memories. And then he would pick Pokemon. So I love Pokemon. I still like Pokemon. Me too. Team Charizard, but we'd get really into the Pokemon movies, but he didn't really get so much into the Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah.
Our lips are sealed and movies like that. Did you watch Mary-Kate and Ashley?
No, so I grew up with one brother, so it was like Mary-Kate and Ashley never touched my household, but I would go over to my friends' houses that had sisters, and they would watch Mary-Kate and Ashley. So I've like seen it, I get it, and like I remember specifically my friend Will, his sister, her name was Ashley, so like she was so into Mary-Kate and Ashley, and
like I'm into Esposito.
yeah,
I can see that.
And so I think there was like one TV in the house, and we would be like, no, we want to play GameCube or whatever. And she's like, no, we want to watch Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Oh
and like
gosh.
of course, like the younger sister, like, we'll let your sister watch Mary-Kate and Ashley. And we were like, what the heck? This is so stupid. And like, yeah, so that was my relationship with Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Hilarious.
But yeah, I never had to deal
poor
with
little brother, bless his heart.
yeah. Well, the thing that I've actually, doing a lot of these podcasts, I've realized like, and just in general, having a brother, like you don't realize how much you learn about like living with other guys, but also like the lack of having a sister.
Yeah.
You never have like lived with girls before.
You don't know anything about us.
Right? I'm clueless.
my goodness.
I'm stranded out here. No. And my mom is definitely not like a girly girl type of girl. So sometimes I'm just like overwhelmed when like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Well, if you have
whoa.
any questions about anything,
Yeah.
feel free.
Yeah, I have so many questions.
No judgment zone right here. It's all
I don't
good.
necessarily know if I have questions. It's more just like...
So many questions.
Just like, oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense or whatever. I don't know.
Like gradual piecing together of our kind.
No, it's funny though. No, my mom actually listened to one of the podcasts where I said something like that, and my mom was like, Andrew, I'm sorry that I never explained blah, blah, blah to you. I'm like, Mom, no, it's cool. Like, I wasn't complaining or anything. It was just
Google
funny.
exists for a reason.
Right?
Don't try to explain it now.
No, I'm like, what is a period? No, I'm not. I'm not Googling that stuff. Like, it's more of like, I don't know. Let's drop the subject. But anyways, it's just
Okay.
it's
so funny.
No, but it's funny because like I said, I never had a sister, so it's interesting. But I bet your brother has a lot of experience dealing with girls.
Yeah, some were just too forced. You know, I remember we would
traumatized.
we would dress them up sometimes just for fun because we didn't have a mannequin. Santa didn't bring us a mannequin, so
that's
our
amazing.
next best option was our brother.
That's great.
And he was skinny, so he was very vogue. Like walking down his little skinny arms.
That's amazing.
He's buff now, so I can say that. Good,
very good. So you took a lot of road trips with your family.
Yes.
New York, all that stuff.
New York, Florida, honestly only East Coast. We never traveled out west.
My family either. We always like visited family like in Michigan and like in Florida. So we were always going like up and down.
Same for us except Connecticut and Florida.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do? Like go hang out in like Mississippi or something? Like,
yeah.
And you don't want to drive all the way. Yeah. Anyways, but that's cool. But now you've done a lot more traveling. You said you had the job where you were flying back and forth from California.
Yes, and that took a toll a little bit. It was a remote position, so it was really. I mean, it wasn't even a typical 9-to-5 job. I really can't complain. It was a great job, but. I don't know. I've always known that I wanted to be more challenged. And I think the ultimate challenge to me, excuse me, is starting a business because you have this blank canvas. It's like art, you know, you have your blank canvas and you get to decide what to do with it. So that was appealing to me, especially with the sales process. I was so stubborn in the fact that I was very frustrated selling IT staffing and, you know, products that I didn't really care about, that I thought honestly were a ripoff. IT staffing, who needs that anyway? But
no, but it's so true. It's hard to sell a product that you don't believe in or you think you're ripping people off.
Yeah, so that I learned a lot about sales, but I didn't learn a lot about IT. But it was very valuable because just the skeleton of sales is so important, just to know what it's all about, and even just making the connections that I made through that sales job. You know, when I talk to people, I try to be their friend instantly and make a connection because, you know, I think that's so important. The relationships that you build in your life, they make you who you are.
Definitely.
And they're not rooted in IT staffing or whatever I'm trying to sell. It's that, you know, that organic relationship. So that's why I love sales, and that's why I like selling my own product rather than something, you know, random.
Yeah. So was that the last company that you worked for?
That was the first
Or-
company I worked for after college, and then I was recruited from that job by In Touch Health.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So did you have this like idea of starting your own business in the back of your head, or was it
Always. Oh my gosh. I've always been so passionate about wanting to start my own business. And like I said, at first it was Charlie Woods. I think I realized the need for mindfulness. And I'm realizing that a lot of my passion has to do with turning your home into a sanctuary with my art and mugs and, really enjoying your time at home, because you're paying all your paycheck pretty much for rent,
Right.
and you're not even there. So the time you do spend there has to matter and bring you as much joy as possible. And I'm really passionate about that idea and bringing beauty and light. I use a lot of gold leaf and like gold accents in my mugs and my paintings. 90% of them have gold somewhere, as you can see behind me, my little studio sitting over here.
I want to ask you about that later.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
But yeah, just bringing light and happiness. Art is so important in my opinion. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's really cool. So what, like, because you said you always want to start your own business. And like for me, growing up, like my dad worked for a company. My mom, was kind of like stay-at-home mom. So like the idea of being entrepreneurial, starting my own business wasn't really a thing. But then my dad decided he was done with corporate America and he wanted to open up a franchise.
Yes.
So he like opened up a Dippin' Dots
Good dad.
franchise.
Nice.
So that like, it never like really clicked with me like, oh, I should like start my own business. Cause it was always like, I'm going to work, corporate somehow until I have enough money to start my own business or something like that. Like that was kind of what I
the mindset. Yeah.
thought, because that's kind of what my dad did.
Totally.
And so like what like inspired you to be so daring that you're like, I'm just going to do it or whatever? Was there someone else in your life, or was it just all internal?
Well, I have a very deep relationship with God, and I feel like I'm very in tune with that spiritual part of myself. And he has always been encouraging me to go for it and to do what he designed for my life. And I believe that we all have these innate desires in our heart, whether it's, creating podcasts or art or starting a queso company or anything that you want to do. I believe that those aren't random, those aren't just by chance. I believe it's the universe that God created saying like, here you go. Here's the hint. Like, what else can I get for you, to get you off your butt and on the right path? And I feel like we need to take those kind of signs seriously, if we're passionate about something. So when I really didn't have that much money saved up when I dropped out of the workforce, I guess, but I knew my strong points. And I think that's key because I didn't go immediately from corporate life to starting a business. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That cold weather out there, man.
And the pollen.
I was about to say mixed with allergies. I don't know how I'm even talking right now. But yeah, so I nannied actually for a while to supplement the time and pay the bills. And it started off with a full-time nannying job, which I highly recommend to any girls listening if you want to start a business, nannying, babysitting, great money.
You got a lot of free time.
Yes, and exactly. And you're not spreading yourself too thin trying to work for another company. And that was my mindset. Like I knew I couldn't give my all to whatever company I chose to work for next. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to do what I'm passionate about, something that feeds my heart and inspires me, because that benefited my art. So it went from full-time nannying to part-time nannying to full-time art.
That's super awesome. So your first company, Charlie Woods, what was, like you said, it's kind of like inspired by mornings and all that stuff, but like why mugs? Like, why was that your thing that you gravitated towards? Besides, like, I mean, obviously, like you said, the mornings and blah, 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 but like, I don't know, what was like the mug thing for you? So
for me, it was a few different reasons. So the first one being that I think mugs are ugly these days. Like the mug I'm using right now is a perfect example of an ugly mug. It's very plain, kind of bulky, cheesy quotes and colors, and they're just, everyone always has this mug collection that, doesn't match and isn't well designed in my opinion. And I love design. It's one of my passions. So I really wanted to design a line of coffee mugs that were a luxury product and that were made out of fine bone china, which is essentially porcelain with an added ingredient to make it more functional for day-to-day use rather than using fine china every day. Something a little sturdier but beautiful looking as well. And for me, it was a blank canvas. I use that term a lot because it's what I see every day.
Right.
But it was just an opportunity for improvement, and something about coffee and tea, and just that for me is sacred. Coffee is sacred to me. I have to have my coffee or tea every single day. Otherwise I cannot function properly. And so many people, they'll grab their coffee, and even me, I'm guilty of this because, we have busy lifestyles, but I really do believe it's important to have that quiet time to yourself. And the glass mug forces you to sit down and not rush around. You can't run around with a glass mug. You have to sit there and breathe. So it was very symbolic for me, I guess.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So how did you, let's be real, there's a million places where you could buy a mug.
True.
How did you decide that you were going to, like you said, you already mentioned how you were kind of differentiating yourself, like the different materials for the mug, and you said earlier that you were looking for different artists and you couldn't find the right thing.
Yeah.
So what was it that I guess you were putting out there to market it? Because like you said, you're into marketing. What was your main differentiator that you were kind of like advertising or whatever?
I took the luxury marketing route. I wanted Charlie Woods mugs to be the mug to buy. There's always the best of the best in whatever product that you're selling, whether it's Lululemon athletic wear or Porsches, the best of the best. There's always something. And my mugs are the best of the best, in my opinion. I think they're beautifully designed and they're functional, and they're gorgeous. I'm very proud of them. And it's inspiring me to start working on Charlie Woods again today. But I feel the same way about, my paintings too. I take a lot of pride into making sure that, it's not finished until it's perfect in my eyes.
I have a really hard time with that too.
Yeah.
I am constantly like, well, I'm going to put this out, but I could tweak this thing and it would make it like it's
my downfall too, because then sometimes I end up spending way too much time on a painting or something that, shouldn't take that long. But
especially when you're working for like clients where you're doing their work.
Yes.
But sometimes I like when there's like time sensitivity, because you're like, okay, it's as good as it's going to get within this time frame. Like done is better than perfect in this instance. But then sometimes it's like, I'm trying to make the best thing of all time. And like before you put it out, you're like, oh, but I could tweak that one little thing, or I could change that one little thing to make it slightly better or whatever. Yeah. So like, how do you figure out when something is done?
When I can look at it and take a deep breath and be at peace. I think that's a great question, because I still do struggle with that. I think the most important thing is authenticity too, because you're always going to continue to grow and be better. And if you have that mindset, that's awesome. But that's also probably what's stopping you from finishing said task, because you're constantly like forward thinking. And that's what I'm guilty of. So I think just accepting where you are at that time, and like even if you don't think it's perfect, if you feel at peace, like, and you can accept your work,
and you can be proud of it.
And say like, yes, this isn't perfect. This isn't exactly what I envisioned, but it's perfect for right now. And
totally,
if you created the perfect piece of art, there's no room for improvement. It's never going to be perfect. There's always room for growth. Your perspective on what perfect means is always going to change. So I think it's just recognizing that it's okay to put your work out there, feeling vulnerable. You don't have to be, I think it's, people like to feel completely protected.
Totally.
And having that sense of perfection is like protection. It's an armor, because if it's imperfect, then, you're leaving yourself open and vulnerable to criticism, because you're criticizing yourself so much. But realizing that you're your own worst critic, and people are going to love it a lot more than you do, because they haven't been staring at it for the past hours like you have.
That's totally true.
Yeah.
Like the other day I was editing this video. It was like, we did this event. Me and my friend, we like shot this event, and then like the next day I wanted to give them the video like the next day. So I'm like, I'm just going to edit it tonight. And like 5 hours later, I'm like on my bed about to pass out. And I'm like, no, I only have to edit like 10 more seconds of the last part. I'm just going to do this. And even though it wasn't exactly like you said, exactly how I envisioned it in the beginning, it was still really good. And I was like proud of it. So I just like trucked through and sent it out, and like everyone loved it. And I was like, this is great, because especially like you said, you've been staring at it for so many hours, you can't even like have perspective of how good it is because
it's like our brains do that. You know, have you ever tried to say the same word over and over again? Like pancake is my favorite example. If you try to say pancake 20 times, it's going to sound so weird. And like, you're going to scrap that word from your vocabulary. Like, I can't use the word pancake. That's the weirdest word I've ever said.
Now I have to eat crepes.
Waffles it is over there.
Right? Are you waffles or pancakes?
Me? Oh gosh. I don't know. I think they're just, I don't know. I think waffles maybe because
I'm with you.
It depends. I love blueberry pancakes, but I love chicken and waffles.
Ooh.
But I don't know. That's a hard.
I
that's
think
the
I
hardest
have to go
question
waffles if it's
so
not like
far.
cooked too. I don't like it when it's too crispy.
Yeah,
I like
because
when it's
then
like
it
a little
just,
bit crispy. You have more surface area for the crispiness to happen.
Pancakes are a little easier to make.
Yeah, like if you make like a one-off pancake and just eat one, you can make it crispy. But if you let it sit on the table, it's just gonna like get soggy real fast and like.
That's true.
Not into it. I'd rather have a waffle. Anyways, but if you say pancake a million times, then maybe you don't want the pancake anyways. You'll just have a waffle.
Yes, you just
don't say waffle a million times, because then.
Well, that's probably a better example. That sounds. I mean,
waffle's
waffle
a
is
weird
the
word.
Weirdest word.
Waffle. Yeah, it's definitely a weird one. But any
my
word
gosh.
is weird because what's in a name? What's in a word? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, the name, like, if you actually think about how stupid the name Facebook is.
Yes.
Like, Facebook.
Or Arby's. Who's Arby? Is Arby a person? Are they like Arby's?
You didn't know? It's the
They're
guy.
like pirates, like, Arby's. That's how Arby's was created.
It's a pirate that hates bees.
Yeah.
Arby's. That I'm sticking to that one. No, but you're right. Like
but exactly. So yeah, that
over.
example, it pertains to your work because if you're staring at something and if it's your own, you're going to be insecure about it because, you know, I'm still trying to figure out why because I still struggle with insecurities with my work, but it gets better every day.
Yeah, my friend Alex, actually, I did a podcast with him yesterday. He's a musician, and he was telling me, because I put out this like video on my Instagram, and I thought it was kind of cheesy, but I'd already shot it, and I already had like, I wasn't going to do it again. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to post this thing. And I like talked to him about it. He was like, no, it was really good. And I was like, yeah, I think it's kind of weird. He's like, honestly, people are watching it and just, they're not thinking like, oh, that's weird or, oh, he did a weird job. They're like, wow, Andrew like made a really cool, like he must be important. Like they like look at you as like doing something different
because
than them.
you're creating. There's so much courage in creating something, whether you're just writing in a journal or painting or creating a video, you're creating. And I mean, people think that's awesome because it takes a lot of cojones to create because you're putting your soul out there no matter what it is.
Very true.
You know, people get stage fright because they're creating a performance for people or they're creating content. They're creating things for people to consume and it's scary.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, anytime you're putting yourself out there. So when you started putting yourself out there with your mugs, what kind of response were you getting? Were you afraid of the response or you were pretty proud of the mugs so you weren't really...
I mean, I was considering it a learning process. I knew it was a completely random business to start, but I knew it was what God wanted me to do for some reason. And along with the mugs, I created a blog that isn't up anymore. It's kind of under construction right now as I reevaluate my personal brand and figure out how I want to, you know, merge the two businesses in a cohesive...
Yeah. How'd you come up with the name, by the way?
Charlie Woods.
Yes.
So Charlie Woods was this little girl I nannied for throughout college. And I loved that little girl. She is the cutest little ray of sunshine. And she inspired me every day. And I just like the name Charlie Woods. And also, if you look at the logo, Charlie Woods, CW, it's a mug. Yeah.
Yes. I noticed that. Very, very good design.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you. So it just stuck with me. I love the name and I wanted her to be a part of my journey somehow because I couldn't nanny for her forever, but I still wanted her to be there.
That's cool.
As a part of the whole thing.
Does she know? Does she know that your company was named after her?
No, she's still really little. She's, I think, 4 or 5. No, she's probably 4 years old at this point.
Wow.
Maybe 5.
But her parents know?
Her parents do know, yes.
That would be super weird.
I asked permission. I'm like, hey, can I name my company after your daughter?
What did they say?
They probably didn't think it would actually happen. So they're like, oh yeah, totally. But
right?
then I created charliewoods.com and they're like, she took charliewoods.com.
So true.
Yeah.
No, the website thing is weird how people like, what are people going to do? It's almost like the username thing. It's like, oh, Andrew Deitch is already taken. But now they're like creating so many cool extensions.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my art website is ledesign.studio. And that made more sense to me anyway than .com because it is a studio kind of.
Yeah.
It's
We're in the studio
situation. Yeah, home studio.
It's an audio studio right now. It's an art studio when we're done.
Exactly.
All kinds of studios.
It's the perfect place to paint. But yeah, so that's my domain name and charliewoods.com. Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, it's crazy how much, how many people invest in domain names. Like I had to buy Charlie Woods from someone else.
Really?
For like $300. Yeah.
Hey, that's not terrible compared to what could have happened.
True.
My friend, I keep talking about Alex, but Alex last night, he had to buy his Instagram name from someone because
No way.
he was like the Alex Guthrie and some girl had Alex Guthrie and he paid her like $600 or something. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
She was probably excited.
Yeah, she's probably stoked. Now he said now she is found at Alex Guthrie 1996.
Oh my gosh.
So if you want to follow her.
That's amazing. I'm going to go find her. Hey, what are you doing with that
Shout
money?
out Alex Guthrie, the real Alex Guthrie.
Do you need any art now that you have all the...
Exactly. Cool. So the mug thing, how did it go? Like, how did you launch? Were you making money?
I honestly went about it the wrong way. I learned a lot because I think all of us have a certain admiration for people on social media with a lot of followers. And that was kind of my model. Like, okay, I'm going to like create a viral, like a few viral posts and my Instagram's going to get a lot of followers and
hit the explore page and we're going to be rich.
Yeah, exactly. In the reality, I mean, granted, this was a couple years ago. So I had this idea in college. Like I took forever to bring it into fruition, but what was I talking about? Yeah, so that wasn't the right strategy to go about it, to try to sell. And yes, I sold mugs. Like I sold a good amount of mugs and it was great. But the smarter way to do it would have been to go the wholesale route and fill orders with boutiques and gift shops and stores and have their orders and then submit that to my supplier and be like, okay, these are the people who like want to purchase these mugs. But I didn't know a lot about retail. I didn't know anything about wholesale. I just knew that I had a vision and I wanted to get that out there.
So were you just doing direct to consumer at the time?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Which was, it's still what I'm doing right now. But like I said, I'm too busy with my art right now to really give Charlie Woods the attention it deserves. Soon it'll, die down once I gain more of a reins on the whole process of running a business because I've only been at it full time for a couple months or 3 months now. So.
Still, that's incredible though. The fact that you're able to do it full time is awesome.
Thank you.
It's really, really cool. So then were you painting at the time? Like when you were doing Charlie Woods at all, like for fun or anything?
Yeah. I've been painting my whole life for fun. I've always been the artsy, creative one in my family.
Did anyone ever like commission you to do art before, or was it just like
I did
purely for fun?
Actually, I kind of yes and no. I did a piece for a hair studio one time, but it was a gift. I didn't expect anything in return for it because I didn't realize the potential of it. I didn't realize that I could take my talent to a different level and, make a career out of it. I had no idea. I don't know why that never, occurred to me because I love it so much. But I think it's all God's perfect timing. He wanted me to discover certain parts of myself first. And I do believe the reason that I'm able to go full time right now is because I did gain that sales experience and the marketing experience.
For sure.
In those jobs. And had I gone the direct art route, I don't think I would have been able to differentiate myself as well as I'm doing right now. Yeah. So it has its pros and cons. I do wish I'd studied art in school, and but at the same time.
But who knows? You might have not had the marketing side, and then you'd be the whole starving artist thing.
Or I would just be another. I think I want to spend the rest of my life figuring out a way to stand out. And bring a unique perspective to whatever I do, whether it's art or my mugs, and I think a lot of that involves unlearning what you've previously learned, and being okay with what you know now, and realizing that that's what makes you unique.
It's kind of like you have to learn the rules in order to break them, sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I definitely I can see how that would make sense because I think who was it? I'm trying to. I'm trying to remember. It was I lived in Spain for a while with this host family. The host family's like their brother or something. He was like this famous artist. He was on TV. He was on a TV show as like I don't know, something. But he wasn't on the TV show anymore. And like he was really talented, but just like had no idea how to like monetize his art. And so like my host dad like was really helping him. Like that was his job, was like basically helping him like run the business side of his art, because he's like he's super talented, but he has no idea how to make money.
That's a huge problem with a lot of artists. There are so many, and I do not claim to be the most talented artist out there by any means. There are so many incredibly talented artists who don't know how to turn that into a lucrative business. So I think it's important to have both sides of the spectrum, because you know, it takes a lot of relationship building and, you know, being around people in order to take your company to a new level.
Yeah, like definitely. I totally get what you're saying about other people being more talented. You almost feel guilty, like charging more than them or like making more money than them or something.
Often. Yeah. Some people, there are some artists out there who spend days and days and days on one painting. And that's always a tricky thing in art. But, you know, I think value is perceived, and
totally,
you know, with your own artwork, if you think it's worth X amount of dollars, then it's worth that much money. Then it is. You know, you're designing your value.
Especially if you can like create a story around it. I feel like people are always like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. Like if they just see it for what it is, they have to make up their own thing. But if you kind of like tell a story around like why it's
if you make it relatable, if you can connect it to people on an emotional level. I mean, so many celebrities, singers out there who aren't, you know, the most talented singers in the world. I don't want to name drop, but you know, there are a lot of very famous singers out there that aren't, you know, as good as someone who might do covers or hey, watch it.
I just wanted to bring him up again.
He's probably going to listen to this.
Yeah, he is. He's my number one fan.
But yeah, it's a testament to how important hard work is, and how not just hard work, but working smartly.
Definitely.
Smart work.
Yes.
And, you know, capitalizing on your time and your opportunities. I think that's a huge indicator. It's always about showing the universe how badly you want it. That's a huge, huge deal. Because the universe is constantly testing you. So
for sure. I can definitely relate with the podcast stuff, because I think I knew, for me personally, I knew I had to like really hit the ground running or people weren't going to take me seriously. And because you see so many people that are like, I don't know, maybe I'll start a podcast with my friend. And then they do like 4 episodes and then they never do anything else. And so I was like, I'm going to release like 10 episodes in the very beginning. So like people automatically know that I'm more serious. But it's totally true. You're right. Like everyone's testing you, but I think the more, I guess, like confident in yourself you are too, and like knowing your worth and all that stuff. Yeah. Like people kind of jump on board. They're just like, oh yeah, totally. You know, after a certain point.
Yeah. Knowing your worth. I mean, and realizing that, you know, it's okay to make a demand to the universe. Be like, hey, this is what I want out of my life. I know you're abundant, so let's make it happen. What do I have to do?
Right.
Show me the money, you know, kind of thing. And one of the most important lessons I've learned throughout this entire experience is how to change my relationship with money, from something to be afraid of or to something that is, you know, unobtainable or out there, not for you, and realizing that how much the universe can create, including money. You know, there's enough to go around. And that helps as an artist too, because it's so easy to look at someone else's artwork and be like, wow, that's really good. There's no way that, you know, these people are going to buy my artwork over this person's artwork. And then you have to snap out of that and be like, no, there's enough for everybody to go around.
Exactly.
You know, we're all children of the universe, and we all have a right to access that abundance if we just, you know, acknowledge it and get more in touch with our relationship with God and the universe that He created.
I agree.
I think that's a huge deal.
I think also having friends that reinforce that too is really helpful. Mm-hmm. Like if you, I mean, there's like I think it's Jim Rohn or someone quoted like, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. So it's like if you're hanging out with people that all work for minimum wage jobs and you're trying to like charge a bunch of money for paintings, you're going to feel like an imposter or whatever.
Or that you're ripping people off or that, for sure.
Because like you're looking at your friends and like they would never pay this much. But then you look at someone else and you're like, that's a bargain for them.
It's all perspective. It's like, what if those 5 people you were hanging out with were Alec Monopoly and Picasso and all the great artists? Then you're undercharging for your artwork.
I want to hang out with Alec Monopoly and Picasso at the same time.
Oh my gosh, one day.
No, but seriously.
One day in heaven, it'll be my goal. I'm going to host a party.
But no, it's totally true because, I mean, I've even just doing this podcast, I've been able to be introduced to more people. And like one friend in particular that I like made through this podcast, she's like always pushing me to charge more for my stuff. And like, she's like, dude, are you kidding me?
Know
like
your
you
value,
should be charging like double or whatever.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, all of the most successful people out there are successful because they knew their worth and they demanded it.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's an interesting, not to go too deep down this rabbit hole, but a lot of people say that a part of the like gender gap thing is like a lot of times people are like, well, men are more assertive and they won't take
I agree.
they won't settle for like a lower salary, whereas like a woman may be more agreeable or whatever.
More conflict.
Yeah, like blah blah blah.
Yeah, anti-conflict.
Yeah, totally. And not to, like I said, that's a deep rabbit hole.
But it is talk about the politics.
No, but that stuff kind of fascinates me because it's interesting because you definitely have to know your work. Let's talk about your paintings because we haven't really actually like talked about your actual paintings. We talked about the mugs. So like a lot of people when they're thinking of like, well, I'm going to do a painting, they're like, I'm going to paint this. But your art seems to be pretty like abstract. A lot of like, it's definitely not like realism.
Yeah.
So how did you settle on that like style? Because you said you've been painting your whole life, so you have experience and you kind of figured out what you like. But
so my paintings are a mirror of, or in my eyes, a mirror of the spiritual world. The intangible and the inexplicable beauty and light that you kind of see when you're praying or meditating or when you envision heaven. Not to say that my paintings do that any justice, but it's an emotive process. There's a lot of emotion that goes into my paintings. And like, I really want to encapsulate all of that emotion in my paintings for other people. Like I want people to look at them and be like, wow, this is light and beauty and this is what the world is. And I want to also inspire kind of a sense of magic through my use of gold leaf and color. And because, going back on kind of what we just talked about, I believe that there's so much magic in this world that has yet to be uncovered every single day. And it's all about like seeking that opportunity and finding it and being like, wow, I had no idea that, this could have happened today. I mean, how many times have you just been in situations where you've gotten unbelievably lucky or you dodged a bullet or, those little miracles that happen every day?
Totally.
Yeah. So it's, that's what inspires my artwork.
That's awesome.
In a nutshell. I could rant about it, but
that's really awesome. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing it full time, you're painting all the time, like, of course you can talk about it all the time. That's so cool. So tell me about the gold leaf stuff, because that's really interesting to me. So how do you, for people that are listening, maybe they don't understand what it is. So like, what is gold leaf and like, how do you apply it and like, what inspired you to like do that?
Very fragile medium for art. It's very, very fragile. And my use with it, some people are a little more ginger with their gold leaf, but I use honestly mostly paint as an adhesive, and then I go over it with nail polish, a clear, shiny top coat for nails to keep it on there and make it shinier.
Nice.
But everyone does it differently. Some people have more process. I like it when it looks a little messier and a little more
Where do you
organic.
buy gold leaf?
The art store.
Oh, really?
The art
That's
shop,
cool.
yeah.
You need to go to the art store.
I know. You can get everything at the art store.
I avoid those places because I want to buy everything. I'm I'm going to create so much stuff.
Dude, you have no idea. I walk in and spend way too much money. I'm like, ooh, this is cool charcoal. I'm going to do some like cool sketches of an urban landscape. And that, obviously never happens because I'm so busy with my abstract, but I understand that. I understand that feeling 100%. You could be a great artist. You seem like the creative type.
Definitely. I took art like all in high school and stuff. I've never been like super in, I kind of suck at painting. I feel like I'm not a painter, but I've always been like drawing and stuff ever since. But the podcast actually like helps me so much with my creative outlet because all the like art for the podcast, like whatever art, like all the promo materials like I make on Photoshop and like all the little videos I make in Premiere and blah, blah, blah. So like that's been my creative outlet. It's been really awesome because I always had a passion for like digital art and making stuff on Photoshop and all that, but I always felt like I didn't have a point to it. Like I was like, this is just like me goofing around. And so I wouldn't make time for it. But now that it's like a part of what I'm doing, it's really cool because I get to do it every day and get better at it and stuff.
Graphic design is fun.
Very fun. Yeah. And I guess I almost take my skills for granted too, because if I want to throw something up like a little graphic thing, I just know how to do it. And a lot of people are like, how did you make that? Or how did you replace the words with other words or whatever? I'm like, oh, it's easy. You just blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But like, it's just, it's been a fun experience because I've been able to like do more of that through the podcast, which
that's awesome.
You wouldn't normally assume because it's audio, but
oh, I mean, if you're marketing anything, exactly. I taught myself graphic design too when I was trying to figure out everything with Charlie Woods.
That's awesome.
So I can relate on that.
And now you like consult for that stuff too, right? That's really cool. So tell me about that side of your business. Like how do you...
Yeah, I would say it's about 10% of my business, but you know, it's just something that if I see someone with a need, you know, if someone needs a logo or they're starting a business, I'm like, hey, you know,
sucks.
I do. Yeah, well, sometimes, or if they don't have a website, but they have a great brand and a great thing that they're doing, but they don't have a website where people can, you know, go learn more about them. They just use social media. So it's mostly me looking for the opportunities there and then just kind of doing it because I know I can do it and I know I can do it well. But it's not how I spend most of my time.
Gotcha.
But it's a small phalange of my business.
Yeah, that's fun. It's always good to diversify.
Yeah, it's that's another thing. It keeps me sane because I am so energized by people. I cannot stare at a painting for too long because I go crazy. I love painting, but I also need to do other things like graphic design and sales and like talking to people and doing things like
That's
this.
Awesome. So how do people buy your paintings typically? Is it like they send you a message? Do they like...
So most of my revenue, I guess, with my business right now comes from custom artwork. So I have people emailing me, messaging me on Instagram, calling me. And, you know, they'll talk about a couple of pieces that they saw of mine or a style that they saw I did, and they'll ask for a similar piece in whatever size works for their particular space. But my biggest clients right now are from me going to them, you know, scheduling meetings with companies and, you know, seeking out their need, realizing, like law firms that don't have a lot of artwork on the walls and selling.
That's cool.
Selling your stuff. Yeah.
That's really cool. Cause I feel like
sales is so important.
Yeah. And I think a lot of artists would be like, I don't want to create something for someone else. Like I'd rather make it myself. And
but that's why I love doing it. Yeah. I love creating for other people. That's the point. I mean, I'm not going to keep all this art for myself.
Right.
You know, I want to bring light into the world. Yeah. Just on my ceilings everywhere. Yeah. No, I mean, I love creating original pieces, but I think I enjoy commissions more.
Yeah. It's like my friend Kevin, he makes custom furniture. And like I went to his house and I thought like that everything in his house is going to be like the dopest furniture. And he just says like normal furniture. He's like, no, all my dope furniture, I like sell it and like make it for people.
Because like, you want to share that with the world. It's like, I don't know, for me, it's like the equivalent of having a selfie of yourself on as the background on your phone. You know?
You don't do that?
I mean, sometimes. I'm just kidding. But I'm a bad example. I'm just kidding. Never. Right. No. Actually, in 7th grade, I think I did.
That's a 7th grade
so
move.
Embarrassing. It was a picture of me at a bat mitzvah, and it was like a photo booth, and I was doing finger guns, and I like really liked the picture. So I'm like, ooh, this is my wallpaper. I'm going to be all confident. Yeah.
Confidence inspo.
We won't talk about 7th grade.
We definitely don't need to talk about 7th grade.
I've blossomed since then.
You know how people are always like, oh, the weird years and blah, blah, blah. I remember like hearing people say that, and I was like in 7th grade, and I'm like, I haven't had weird years. And then looking back, I'm like, yeah, bud,
weird.
You were weird. You were real weird, dude.
I was really weird.
Why did no one punch you in the face like every day?
Oh my gosh. I'm just happy that I'm a forward thinker because I don't know, some people just loved their middle school days.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to go there. But no, but that's totally true. Is like you were saying, like it's like having a selfie of yourself on your thing.
It's not my, I mean, but I have
away.
a few pieces, like that piece is mine. The piece over there is mine, but mostly because they just haven't sold yet or I haven't posted them yet and I need a place to put them.
Yeah.
More of a placeholder kind of thing.
How does Instagram fall into your strategy? Because I feel like a lot of artists, like you said.
Yeah, I like Instagram. I'm terrible at it, I think. Not terrible. It's not
Terrible.
my main
There's a lot of
effort.
places that are a lot worse than your page. That's for sure.
I think I have thank you. I feel like I have this vendetta against the rules of Instagram. You know how you have to have that perfect aesthetic and you have to post in this time of day, and it doesn't seem that authentic to me. And I don't feel comfortable with that being the main portion of my business, which is why I do a lot of outside selling, a lot of social selling, and approaching people. Or different companies, but Instagram has been really key, honestly, in my sales. You know, for people discovering my artwork. You know, I've made a substantial amount of sales through Instagram, but I never want to get to the point where I'm obsessing over it, or where I'm like insecure if my Instagram doesn't have enough followers.
Yeah, and another thing that's kind of interesting, I like how you go out and like approach business and stuff like that, because I feel like since Instagram is so accessible, it's like anyone can
exactly
post.
That's the thing. Then you're just another fish in the sea.
Yeah.
Whereas if you approach a new business and you say, hey, you have no art, guess what, I'm an artist, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to like take the time to go find a good artist, here I am, and then that's how it happens. So
that's a good value proposition. Like, what if you go and do that, do you normally create like a lot of pieces for one building?
Yeah, sometimes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good way to knock out a lot of sales too. You like sell a bunch of paintings to one client. Because typically, like I feel like in people's houses or whatever, they're probably buy like one at a time or whatever, right? Or is it?
Yeah. When people are decorating, they like a variety of artists in their home. Typically, they don't usually like to.
Do you have like a biggest fan, like someone that has like a ton of your art?
Oh my gosh!
Besides your mom or something?
I don't know. I have a few people who are very loyal clients, and they'll support me kind of through the phases. But yeah,
that's cool.
I wouldn't call them fans, but they're very loyal
friends that are
friends. Very supportive friends.
Fan is a weird word.
Yeah, fan,
because it's short for fanatic.
Exactly, fan seems too like worshipy kind of thing. I don't know, because I guess it depends.
Like I would say, my mom is like my biggest fan. Like my mom, like anything I do, she's always like super on board.
So.
You know, yeah. Some people's moms aren't, I guess. I don't know.
I know.
Or they're like, "What? Go back to school, you lazy butt." No, but no, like it is weird to have like fans because you're like, like you said, it's like the worshipy type thing.
Yeah, because I just know how.
that.
I think I just know how like average I am, honestly. And it's like,
but average to you might not be average to someone else.
Exactly.
You know?
But I think we're all pretty equal, you know, like some of us are more talented than others, some of us do a lot more, but at the end of the day, we're all just hustling in a different way.
Yeah. I've heard that a lot of like YouTube people that are kind of famous, like it's kind of weird. I don't know why I thought of this right here, but like as far as like fans go, like YouTube celebrities, since you're watching them typically on like a smaller screen, you feel like they're like more normal. But also you feel like you can approach them more. If you saw them in real life, you'd be like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You feel like you know their life.
You feel like you know them, yes.
Yeah, but then if you saw like Tom Cruise or like Angelina Jolie or something out in public, I would feel very intimidated to like go up and talk to them and ask them for like, I wouldn't ask them for a picture. I just wouldn't. Like I'd be too like scared. Maybe I would try to go talk to them or whatever, but.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm the same way. I get starstruck really easily if I see a celebrity. Yeah.
But like, so if someone's like your fan or whatever, maybe they're starstruck about you, but you're just like, yo, I'm super average. Don't be my fan.
Yeah. Well, it just makes you uncomfortable because you're like, I don't know. Not that I've ever been like fan, like I've never been approached by a fan or anything like that. But you know, when people like are very complimentary of my artwork, and it's, I don't know, like not that I don't love and appreciate the compliments and the support, but it's still like, oh, thanks. It's just me.
Yeah. No, but it's true. Like one of my friends, he had a friend who like invited another friend to go on this trip, and this other friend is like kind of a big fan of his.
Ooh, okay.
And he was like, dude, why did you invite her? Like, it's going to be weird because I feel like she's just trying to be my friend because I don't know. Like, it's weird.
Is he famous?
Kind of.
Yeah,
like kind of famous. Like, he's getting more famous. And
yeah.
he's like, I have a girlfriend. Like, this is weird. Like, why'd you invite this girl that's like always messaging me and stuff? Yeah. And so it's weird when you have this level of people recognize you for this thing.
Yeah.
And you're still yourself, but other people think differently of you because of a thing that you do. It's a hard thing to like escape.
Yeah, it's never as cool as you think it is. It's like something that stands out to me. Are you a Harry Potter fan?
When I was younger, my parents didn't let me watch Harry Potter, so
what?
Yeah,
No.
they were like it is evil and it is witchcraft.
Oh my gosh.
And Focus on the Family says that is bad, so you can't read those books. So my mom doesn't even have a southern accent. He must have been
just a creepy kid that they didn't trust with witchcraft exposure.
No,
I'm just kidding.
That's probably true. My mom was like scared that I was gonna like put a like Horcrux on her or something. I don't even know if that's the word.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, my parents didn't really let me watch it or read the book, so it was hard for me to get into it later on.
Yeah.
Whereas like Pokemon, like I was super into it, and now looking people that never got into Pokemon, I'm like, how do you not like Pokemon? And then I'm like, oh yeah, because it's kind of weird now. Like looking at it, it's like
it's
Dumbo cartoons.
Yeah. And
we're all like walking around with our phones, like throwing Pokeballs at like imaginary Pokemon.
That Pokemon app, the game that came out.
Pokemon Go.
Oh my goodness, I was addicted for a week, and then I realized what I was doing, and I'm like, okay,
that was a real moment
I have
in society.
I have my college degree, and I'm walking around the street looking for Pokemon.
Yeah.
I could be painting right now or doing something productive.
I was in Spain when all that craziness happened, and I went to the largest Pokemon Go meetup ever. And they had to like shut down all these streets. Police were like present, like making sure blah, 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 like, because there was like a crowd gathered and whatever.
Man.
And like originally on Facebook, they had announced it was going to be at this one location at this park. And everyone showed up there, and then the police said, you can't gather here. So like on Facebook, whoever organized it was like, all right, we're all going to get on the metro and go to this place. And so like everyone really, it was a mess.
That sounds like so much fun. And like going back on what we were talking about with like perceived worth and names and businesses and whatever, it's like imagine somebody approached you with the idea of Pokemon. Be like, okay, we're going to have these little creatures, but they're better cartoons than other cartoons. And like one is Pikachu and he's electric, and the other one is Charizard and he's fire. Like imagine one of your friends proposing that to you.
I'd be like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like no one is going to do that, dude. Like
Give
walk
me that
around
beer.
and try to like grow your Pokemon.
It's going to turn into an app, and people are going to collect all the cards. And it's like somebody had a vision, and they had, the conviction to believe in themselves.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God for Pokemon.
Sorry, I totally hijacked your Harry Potter comment. What were you saying about Harry Potter?
Forgot. Well, I mean, one of the things that sticks out to me from the Harry Potter books is how humble J.K. Rowling made Harry Potter. He's very humble, and like people are always like, "Oh, Harry, you killed the basilisk," or however you pronounce it, the big snake. And they're always like worshiping for all these things that he's done throughout the story, and the whole time he's like, honestly, it's not that cool. Like I got lucky, and then like this time I don't even know how I got out of it. And I feel like that's kind of, I mean, I'm not comparing myself to Harry Potter by any means, but that's kind of how I feel with my life right now. People are like, oh yeah, you started your business, that's awesome. And it's like, yeah, but you don't see like this A, B, and C that I had to do today, right? Just to keep the business going, and all of the challenges and like some of the crazy people that you come across with that, it's just, there's so many things to it. And so I think you get caught up in realizing like it's not as glamorous and beautiful.
But they also can't like see your numbers and stuff. So they see this like portrayal and like beautiful website and like cool social media posts and like talking about selling your artwork. So like someone who doesn't know can't tell the difference kind of.
Yeah.
Which in some ways is cool.
It's fine. Yeah. Because I don't want to, I don't want my brand to be me complaining about all the work that, I have to do, because it's a blessing, but it's,
of course,
there's always more to an operation than people see. And a lot of it is luck. Most of it honestly is luck.
Do you ever get people that are like, I can make that, like about your art or whatever, because it's like kind of abstract? Like,
to my face. But I'm sure.
I wouldn't imagine that anyone would say that to your face, but like,
I'm sure. No, and I've thought about that because I'm guilty of that too. You know, I went to Art Basel. I don't know if you're familiar with Art.
Totes.
You are? Okay.
In Miami, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to Miami in December, and there were a few pieces where I caught myself saying, wow, it's literally a black line, and it's selling for $15,000. Why? And then I'm like, oh, well, I'm a hypocrite then because I'm selling my artwork for, you know, a certain amount of money, and I'm sure other people are thinking that they can do it as well. But it's not all about that. I think the important fact is that you didn't do it. You didn't create this unique piece of artwork.
There was like a picture I saw. It was literally like a giant canvas, and it said, "Modern art equals I could do that, but but you didn't, so yeah," or something like that. And it was literally like, that was the piece. Yeah. It's like modern art equals I could do that, but you didn't.
Well, yeah, and it always looks so much easier than it is. You know,
Totally
I guarantee anyone who thinks that, you know, they could do one of my paintings if I give them a canvas and paint and be like, all right, duplicate it.
Yeah.
Go for it. I would love to see you duplicate this original piece of art because you can. It's like duplicating a snowflake. It's unique. Mm-hmm. And that's the value of art. You know, it's always unique. Original art, at least. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say to those people. And
it's worth whatever people are willing to pay and all that. Very cool. I feel like we've kind of covered a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. We talked about a lot.
We did. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
No. If you're not following me on Instagram already, please go do so. It's ledesign.studio, which is also my website. I would love for you to follow along with the journey.
And leave lots of comments.
Lots of love comments.
Hashtag algorithm.
Comment, I can do that. Or I could have done that on all my paintings.
Please do that.
Just so I know you're listening to this.
Right? That would be so funny. And people that aren't in on the joke. See, your true fans are the people that are going to go comment, I could do that on all your posts.
Yes.
And then your fans that didn't listen to this podcast, they're fake, and they're going to be like, wow, did you see that mean comment?
Wow, don't listen to him, Laura. You're too good for that.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're going to be like, wow, I thought you were a real friend. You didn't even listen to that podcast.
Exactly. You didn't listen to that whole podcast.
Ouch.
That's funny. But no, thank you so much for this opportunity. This is a lot of fun. This is my first podcast, so. Good.
You didn't mess up. Everyone's always worried that they're going to mess up. That's what
I like that no one can see me right now. Yeah. They can't see me fidgeting with everything.
I'm a fidgeter too. That's how I broke one of my last microphones. I fidgeted with the cord so much that the cord started crackling when you moved it.
It happens. It totally happens.
I thought about that. I was like, I should get like a fidget spinner for me and like my guests to like play with.
Yeah, or a stress ball or Play-Doh. That'd be a great idea.
I've thought about that, but the fidget spinner makes noise when it like spins, so Play-Doh would be, yeah.
That would be
fun. I'm going to do it. Sorry, I didn't bring Play-Doh.
My next feature, maybe in a year, we can check up on my journey.
When you're... Yes, hopefully you're not too famous for me by then.
No, I doubt it. It's gonna be a slow journey because I like taking my time. But
very cool.
That was a lot of fun.
Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
If you want to go buy her art, then hit her up.
Yeah, custom artwork is my specialty. So if you have an empty space on a wall that could use some light and love and beauty, let me know.
There we go. Awesome. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Andrew.
See you guys. Boom! There you have it. Another wonderful episode in the books. I want to thank Laura again for being on the show. And if you haven't, definitely check over her Instagram. Go over and check out her Instagram or her website. Got a lot of amazing pieces on there. And you can buy some of her custom art. It's pretty awesome. Again, I want to thank Brooke Watson of Keller Williams Chattahoochee North for sponsoring this episode and introducing us to Jeff Buchweitz from Shelter Home Mortgage. Make sure you go to BrookeWatson.House to connect with her. And if you made it here to the end, that puts you in a very special group of people. And that group of people would be my favorite people in the whole world. Whoa. Didn't think that was coming, huh? But if this is your first time listening to the podcast, now you're one of my favorite people in the whole world, then I'm assuming that you want to listen to some more episodes. And there is just a sea of episodes out there. So I'm going to do you a favor and give you a couple recommendations. Good guy Andrew over here. So if you enjoyed this episode, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's pretty safe to assume you're going to love episode 45 with Hillary Billings. And Hillary is like the epitome of what I love in a podcast guest because she does it all. She does on-camera hosting, red carpets, behind-the-scenes interviews. She's a contributing writer for some huge publications. She's a former Miss Nevada, and she was a full-time nomadic traveler blogging about her experience along the way. And she has visited tons of amazing and exotic places. Her story is so inspiring and amazing. And if you haven't heard it yet, you definitely need to go back and listen. Again, that was episode 45. It's called Nomad to Miss Nevada with Hillary Billings. Go check it out. Also wanted to give one more recommendation, but I have like 3. But I'm going to narrow it down to just 2 quick ones. So I'm going to go say listen to episode 69 with Noelle Jackson. She's the founder of LPR, and I had an awesome time chatting with her about a lot of similar topics that Laura and I talked about today. So I also recommend episode 72 with Rachel Woods. I figured it out. She's a yoga instructor that works in the chiropractic industry, and she has an amazing and powerful story about one of the hardest times of her entire life. Actually, definitely the hardest time of her entire life. But we were able to talk about how she really overcame those obstacles and why she is thriving and doing better than ever now. All 3 of those episodes are awesome. You should definitely go check them out if you haven't listened to those yet. But coming up next, we got episode 86 with Andrew Rhee. Andrew grew up in Florida as a child of Korean immigrants, and after graduating from high school, he moved to Atlanta, where he graduated from Emory University, and he is the founder of Rhee Law. He's been practicing law for over 25 years. Not only does he deal with everyday people, but he represents large corporations, celebrities, television personalities, and athletes. And most notably, he has represented Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver, 2006 Super Bowl MVP, and 2012 Dancing with the Stars mirror ball champion Hines Ward. For the past 15 years, he's been Hines' exclusive agent, and he currently handles all of his business, legal, and marketing. He's responsible for molding Hines into the ultimate Renaissance man, putting him on Dancing with the Stars, putting him in The Dark Knight Rises, The Walking Dead, the 2013 World Iron Man, and positioning him as co-anchor with Bob Costas on Sunday Night Football, the nation's #1 sports show, and positioning him as White House Commissioner for the Asian American and Pacific Islanders Initiative under the Obama administration. Whoa, that is a mouthful. But during our conversation, we talked about how his upbringing shaped the rest of his life, how he got his start in law, working with Hines, and much, much more. That episode will be coming out on Wednesday of this week. You definitely don't want to miss it. Lots of great wisdom dropped on that episode. And if you want to support the show, make sure you go to iTunes, rate it 5 stars. That really helps me out. Leave a little comment in there if you feel so inclined. I do read all of the comments, so if you feel like giving me some positive feedback there, that is one of the best places to do it. Because, it really helps me get the show out to more people. The more ratings and reviews that are on iTunes, the more people that can discover it. iTunes is the #1 place for people to discover new podcasts. Don't know if I already mentioned that. But anyways, it would really, really help me out. Also, if you want to follow me, you can go to my website, andrewdeitch.com. You can find the links to all my social media accounts. And make sure you go sign up to the email list so you don't miss out on any important updates. Finally, thank you so much for listening. You guys are the hardcore homies. Thanks for sticking it out until the very end. And I can't thank you guys enough for your love and support. I will see you guys later this week.
It's like the equivalent of having a selfie of yourself on as the background on your phone. You know?
You don't do that?
I mean, sometimes. I just gotta.